I think we're live.
What is up, guys? Welcome to our first episode of A Talk on Titan. All credit to Ben Goddard for that one. Obviously, I'm here with Mr. Ben Goddard.
What's up, guys?
Ben, what is up, man? Sunday afternoon or late afternoon or night?
Yeah, Sunday night now. It is fully pitch black, and I want to give credit to the person that, because I put it out there, and I'm trying to find the tweet. Jesse S. Lewis came up with A Talk on Titan, so I don't want to take credit for that. Thank you so much, Jesse, for that. Like, I put out, I was like, I need a name for Attack on Titan recap show, and he came back with A Talk on Titan. So I can't. That's just the best you're gonna get right there.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where every time you have to do a new show, you have to pick a cool name. And this is definitely one of those great names. Real quick, man, I want to get your background on Attack on Titan. Obviously, this is a show that if anyone knows me, all you have to do is go to my Twitter profile. You see the background of my Twitter is one of my favorite moments from last season, Mikasa with Eren and Historia. So yeah, good. I love her. And then obviously my Twitter handle is actually an Attack on Titan reference. A lot of people think it's a Star Wars reference, but it's an Attack on Titan reference. Right when I was making my Twitter, that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, I need to be a squad leader.
That's interesting. I always thought it was a Star Wars reference too. But I came when I'm a newbie. When it dropped on Netflix, like I got swept up in the hysteria of Attack on Titan when, the theme park came out, when everybody was dressing up as the Survey Corps. I watched that first season and I was completely blown away by what this show was. Yeah, I had dabbled in anime a little bit, but man, this just kicked open the door for me in such a big way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when it comes to anime, there's always the anime story, the anime gateway drug. What did you take to get into anime? Obviously, mine is very simply Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, I grew up in the Latin American era of Dragon Ball Z, where it was popping up in the 90s, the late 90s. I was in Colombia when that was premiering. It was the Buu Saga premiering in Colombia, and the Buu Saga was huge. Like right when it was the Buu Saga and like Kid Buu was coming out, and Majin Buu was coming out, like that was like the biggest thing ever. And then from there, I transitioned into Toonami, which Toonami was when I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Huge.
Right? It was like 2000, 2001.
Yeah. Toonami was so big on Cartoon Network.
That's when I got into Gundam. That's when I got into all the other cool anime.
Cowboy Bebop.
And then obviously Ghost in the Shell kind of transformed me. I'm talking about mainly Standalone Complex, the anime series. But Attack on Titan for me just transformed everything for me. Like obviously I'm wearing an Attack on Titan t-shirt. I have like 5
I need to get some Attack on Titan merch. I need to hit up the Hot Topic. I need to get some Captain Levi swag because that is my boy right there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there you go. That's your favorite. Yes. But I came up with that era, and my buddies and I really got into it. Like we would go to conventions and stuff like that. So that's my thing, is like Attack on Titan is the kind of show that I watch like 4 times through. I rewatch it in English and I watch it in Japanese.
So many times. It's an addiction. Like I'm so bad with TV. Attack on Titan is my anime office. Like that is like that and Hunter x Hunter. I've rewatched so many times, and it's such a bittersweet thing because I love these shows, and I rewatched all 3 seasons. Like I literally, after Ace put out his top 5 Irwin moments, I was like, let's do this. The new season's coming out, because we didn't know, because I was like, we kept reading that, the 4 seasons come in 2020. Okay, it's coming later in the year. Okay, it's coming in December. And I thought it might be a victim of COVID to get pushed back. And then someone was like, oh, it's coming in 6 days. I was like, what? What is happening?
Yeah. I've been keeping up with it for a minute. Yeah.
Okay. So I binged all 3 seasons in the last 4 days, just like episode. I was like, okay, I need a refresher. And so I'm so glad we got together to do this. But yeah, I've watched this thing so many times through. And I remember, and we'll get into like a quick summary of all 3 seasons, but I remember not liking season 2 when I first saw it.
Oh, really?
Because I was like, this isn't what I kind of compared to The Walking Dead, where if you're looking for people versus Titans, the show evolves into something much more complex and much richer. But if, like the same with if you're looking for just people versus zombies, The Walking Dead evolves into more complex ideas and what an apocalypse would actually be about, not just, killing zombies and shooting them in the head. And that's what this is. And that's what, and the more I watch season 2, and I even said to my roommate, I was like, oh, I'm on season 2 right now. And he's like, oh, it's so boring. I'm like, it's really not. Like, once you watch it again, you have to watch it again because there's so much going on. And I remember even the second time I watched season 2, I was like, what did I not like about this? What was I thinking at the time? Because this is so good.
No, season 2, if I'm being honest, like, it's just next level. Like, I think season 1 is like hype action, crazy. Like, this is the greatest anime ever. One of the best first seasons ever. And then season 2 was like, let's wipe that away.
Yeah.
Dodge that. Let's get into like politics. Let's get into slow building, like really
it went from like Walking Dead to pure Game of Thrones. Like it was like, okay, you're here for the dragons and stuff. We're going to give you 4 seasons of political intrigue. Attack on Titan did that in 12 episodes. And it was perfect. I will say,
I think season 2 is perfect, if I'm being honest.
Season 2 is so good. Trust me. Like I am so far gone from my original thoughts of season 2, but I would tell you nothing can equate to that season 1 intro song. Nothing can equate to the, and that's the thing. Literally, I think someone texted me about that because I was watching it, and one of my Twitch alerts for a donation or something is, when Levi says Kenny, and then someone texted me, was like, oh, that's what that's from, because I posted that moment and I was like, yes, that's what it's from. That's how much I love it. Is that the opening music of season 1 is one alert, and then Levi just screaming Kenny is another alert. I love that show so much.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Attack on Titan. That's what's great about the anime, if I'm being honest, is the idea of leveling up each season and doing something different and doing something. I don't know, just it feels a little bit more original than necessarily saying, "Hey, let's follow up season 1 with more action or even more, Titans or something like that." Where and even season 3 did that too, especially season 3 part 1, where there was basically no Titans.
Nothing.
For like 12, 13 episodes.
Until Rod Rice becomes that huge Titan.
That giant War Titan.
Yeah. So we will be doing like full spoilers for all 3 seasons, guys, in case we have to bring something up. And we'll be doing a spoiler review about season 4 episode 1, but I don't know what chapter it is. Episode 60 overall. 60, yeah.
So go ahead, man.
I just like, what out of the first, we'll talk just season 1. We don't need to do a summary of it, but what stands out for you for season 1? Is it, female versus Attack Titan part 1 or 2? Is it getting to know Mikasa or Captain Levi? Like, what stands out to you the most out of season 1?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the final 10 episodes of the season are definitely the standout for me. I forget what they're called. It's something like The Voyage Beyond the Walls. What is it called? I don't know. Wait,
we're talking season 1 or season 3?
Season 1. Season 1 is like The Mission Beyond the Walls or something like that.
I know it's like Retaking Trust is part, like it's like there's 2 parts. Because there's part 1, and that's retaking, where Shingan Shisha falls. And Wall Maria falls, and then they retake Trust after the Colossal Titan appears 5 years later. And then part 2 is like where they go into the forest and female Titan attacks.
Yeah, that's the one I'm referencing. I just forget the name of the episode because there's an actual structure to it where it's like the next chapter where it's like these 12 episodes and then these 12 episodes, totaling 24, which is the first season. And the second group of the second 12 is my favorite. I forget.
The 57th Exterior Scouting Mission.
That one. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's like the next that's like season 1, part 2, I guess.
For sure. I got you.
That stands out for me the most. And obviously the finale is kind of phenomenal as far as the Annie moment and all that. It's very, I don't know if you've seen Death Note.
I haven't. That I need to trust me. That is my
it's very
big
light
shameful blind spot.
For anyone who watches Death Note, it's very light. As far as Annie's moment, when she reveals herself and all that is very cool.
Yeah.
That's definitely the highlight for me. Yeah, man, let's do a quick little summary. So obviously season 1 ends with Annie encased inside the diamond, which as far as we know, she's still encased inside a diamond. Full disclosure, guys, we are not manga readers. Please no spoilers from the manga.
Please no spoilers.
If
Please
you do,
no manga spoilers.
I will probably ban you forever.
I will find you.
No,
I will ban
tolerance.
you from the plane of existence.
Yeah,
I have purposely, because I told Ace before this started, the one moment, because like there's YouTube where they put the mangas on and you can pause the screen and read it and then push play and then it'll turn the page and stuff. And the one moment I read was Captain Levi versus the Beast Titan. It was literally the one moment you shouldn't read ahead. And so that moment was kind of spoiled for me in season 3. I knew it was coming, but please no manga spoilers. Like, please don't be that person. Don't be that guy. But yeah, for me, season 1 was definitely the power of like Levi's my boy. I'll say this over and over again, but we saw how powerful Mikasa was. Like, one, I want to know who won that fight. I want to know who won Mikasa versus Annie at training camp. I want to know who.
Two, by the way, but it takes place
in season 2. Okay,
it takes place in season 1, but it's referenced in season 2. If that makes sense.
I know, because that's when he's fighting Erwin. You're right. You're right. Not Erwin. Reiner.
Reiner, yeah.
But definitely when. Because you see how good Mikasa is at killing Titans, but then you see when Annie captures Eren, and Levi's like, all right, we're going to take him together. You distract her. And then because she's wiped out all of Levi's squad, like without even blinking. And she turns and tries to punch, and he like does his roll, like he rolls. He's so fast.
Super spin.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. So that's but yeah. Summarizing, what stands out about season 2 for you? Because that's when we get into the real politics of everything.
Well, season 2 to me is always going to be the episode that literally brought me to my knees. And when I say literally brought me to my knees, I was standing up when I was watching it, because sometimes it's a 20-minute episode.
It just be like that.
I'm just gonna stand up and watch this.
Yeah.
And it's right when I wake up too, because Attack on Titans usually comes out in the morning. So I wake up and I watch it. So I'm like standing up watching it, and I fell down as this moment happened. But I think it's the greatest episode. I've tweeted this out before, like one of the greatest episodes in all of television history.
Oh my gosh.
And that is Warrior season 2, episode 6, when we get that reveal of I want to make a whole video essay about it. I actually have a little bit written out in my head. But when Reiner and Bertold are revealing to be the Colossal and the Armored Titan, spoilers, guys. But that episode to me is like perfect in every way, as far as like how casual it was, how nonchalant it was, the quick little flashback we got, the rain, the flagpole. The whole like grabbing your gun, but it's actually your sword moment with Eren and the rest of the Survey Corps. Everything done in that episode on a cinematic level is absolute perfection.
It's legit like Scorsese directed that thing, and especially the moment they actually reveal. And I noticed this with my rewatch just a few days ago, where literally their reveal is background noise. Hanji is talking to Mikasa in the foreground about what's next. And it's like
that's why it's perfect.
It's like background noise of like, oh, I'm the Armored Titan and Bertold is the Colossal Titan. And you're like, wait, what just
you're like, what?
Say and this is after like the come down of like, Ymir being revealed to be the Titan, and them rescuing Historia and them finding out about that. And it's like you're finally taking a breath, and you're thinking it's going to be like a come down episode of like, okay, we're back in the wall. What's going to be the next arc for this season? And it just hits you in the gut. And especially Eren's reaction. Sometimes Eren's annoying with how emotional he is. You're like, stop crying and go do something.
Or
like
screaming.
We'll get to season 3 when Historia literally slaps him and says, shut up. And that's my favorite moment. But his moment where he's in Reiner's hand, and they're sliding down the wall, and it's flashing to like them
Mhm.
growing up together, them going to
Mhm.
training camp together. He's like, and him sharing his past, like, I want to make it home, and Reiner's like, I'm gonna make it home too, and then he just like, you bastard, and he gets
Yeah.
angry, and then the reveal of like them just, it's like the Rocky Balboa pose of them just like about to fight, and then it's like to be continued. You're like, oh my god, like,
It's the greatest episode of Attack on Titan, in my opinion. I think it's
so
perfect.
good. It really
but
is.
yeah,
That is the peak moment of season. Now, I do love where Erwin charges the troops and immediately gets hit like in his right arm. And
you
so
saw
like,
my video, man.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like Erwin's my boy, bro. Susumu! Like,
Yeah.
it's so cool. It's so awesome.
and honestly, this show makes me wonder like how people watch this as a dub, because the Japanese actors, they're just irreplaceable.
Next
for me.
level. They really
just
are
so good. Like,
It's
even as I get
ridiculous.
annoyed with Aaron's emotions, like I couldn't imagine another actor portraying him, because and I've seen especially the Kenny moment. I've seen Matt Mercer do it. Matt Mercer is one of the most talented voice actors on the planet, but even he is like, I don't get that same raw anger that immediately, because you never see Levi emote ever. That's his first emote of. I know your clock is off an hour. I
just realized that.
Whoops. And just but yeah, go. So season 3.
Well, season 3, just so because I want to get to season 4. Let's do a quick little recap as far as season 3. What we got, obviously, the culmination of season 3 for me is always going to be the moment that we got the end of season 3, part 1, which was the little flash forward horror movie thing. I don't know if you remember this, but that was incredible. Where we jump forward to picking between Armin and Erwin. I think that is the peak
at the end of season 2. Absolutely.
So
wait, was it season 3 part 1 that we flash forward to,
correct.
Or was it season 2 finale?
Season 3 part 1. It cuts, the credits cut, and it does that little horror movie thing, and then we cut to Armin or Erwin as far as picking who.
And then it's Mikasa fighting Levi, and that's all you get, and you're like, what is happening?
But when we actually get to that episode, I think obviously that, I mean, Erwin, to me, that speech he gives, My Soldier's Rage, is like my top anime moment ever. But I think that concluding into the background that we finally get into Gracia, as far as Aaron's dad, for anyone who doesn't know, Gracia Jaeger, that story we get about the Marleys and the Eldians and everything is pretty consequential to this season, considering that's what we start with. But essentially, we get the background history of the Eldians, or at least the background history that we're told. We don't necessarily know that it's true.
From their perspective.
From their perspective, as far as the first subject of Ymir being a child who's, I believe, 13 years old, who makes a deal with the devil of all Earth. Okay, sure. In order to give her the power of the founding Titan. And then the Titans are 9 Titans that we get. And then the Eldians abuse their power of the Titans to take over the Marleys. Eventually, the Marleys swing the war back in their favor by stealing the power of the Titans, or converting the Titans to their side, using them to take over the war. And then we get this very segregated, discriminatory attitude of the Marleys and the Eldians that they have in their community now, where the Marleys pick warriors in order to inherit the Titan power, which we know doesn't last forever. In fact, we know that because the Owl explained that, I believe it's Ben,
13 years.
13 years, right? You last 13 years. So if you take the Titan power, you have 13 years left. So if you take it when you're 12, then you have 13 years from when you're 12. Take it when you're 15 or when you're 20. However many years you take it, that's why Zeke is older and that's why Reiner's younger, but they're probably going to lose it around the same time. But it's one of those things where that is super consequential because of what we get now. Anything you want to add in there, or anything I missed?
Just the reveal, we finally won season 3, the fight for Shing and Shisha. I'm hope I'm saying that right. I might be mispronouncing. Yeah, Shing and Shina, sorry. The fight between, the colossal armored beast Titan, Captain Levi, taking down the Beast Titan was better. I don't care if I read in the manga. That was just crazy amazing.
That was
but them, them seeing the photograph of Grisha and like finding out that Grisha's wife, Zeke's mother, is the one that ate Aaron's mother was
that's pretty hardcore.
It's so hardcore. But then you also realize her royal blood is the reason why Aaron could control the Titan at the end of season 2. Oh, this show's it's just so perfect. It's just so good.
Yeah. The final thing too. Oh, go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Ace.
Well, the final thing that I almost forgot is the fact that we finally get the entire name of the show that is not the name of the show. The name of the show is Attack Titan. And we thought it's Attack on Titan, but I mean, we can keep calling it Attack on Titan, but we know that Shingeki no Kyojin means Attack Titan, which is the type of Titan that Aaron
has.
Yeah, which is like, it just blew my mind. Like, I literally was like, what? All this time the show's called Attack Titan because that's the type of Titan. Like, I don't know. I lost it.
It's so good. And especially, the flashback of Grisha's upbringing and just like the death of his sister through just such an inconsequential action of them just wanting to see the airships one day. And it completely changed his life. Zeke writing them out, and you find out that Zeke is Aaron's, is it half brother, step brother? Like, I don't know like the official term for that.
Yeah. Same dad, different mom. So it's
same dad, different mom,
half brother.
And so, you wonder, because Zeke says that at the end of the fighting, he's got Bertold, and he's like, don't come near me. And he's like, I'll be back to rescue you, Aaron. Like, he doesn't want to kill him. Like, he's like, you're like, both sides think that they're brainwashed. Like, both, like, the Eldians are being used by the Marleys. And we'll talk about that and see, this premiere. And that's like a main point I really want to bring up. But like, it's so well done because you see both sides of this fight, and you see like how, because even, in the fight, they're like, well, how do you know that we're the subjects of Ymir? It's like, well, I believe it. Yeah. And that's the moment you're like, okay, maybe this is just like the same side, but a different paper. And it's like, I loved it. It's hard to explain, but I love the show so much.
Yeah, and obviously, let's finally get to this season. Season 4, episode 1. It's called The Other Side of the Sea, which is obviously a reference to the finale of season 3, where Aaron says, the enemies are on the other side of the sea, or everyone on the other side of the sea is our enemy, which is even more hardcore.
It's so heartbreaking because that moment, because they choose to save Armin, and because he's like, we're gonna get outside the wall. I want to see the sea. That's like the first episode. And then, he says that to Levi, and he gives him the Titan formula to become the Colossal. And then they get to the ocean. There's no more Titans. The Titans are gone from the entire island. Like, you think this should be a happy moment. And they're, Connie and Sasha are playing in the water and splashing each other. And, he's picking up a seashell. And then Armin's even like, Aaron, look, he's like, yeah. But now we thought outside the wall there's going to be freedom in the sea. But now we know on the other side of the sea, everybody wants us dead.
Yeah, we know that trying to kill us.
Everybody's trying to, like, the people on the other side of the sea have been creating and sending the Titans in to try and kill us.
Yeah.
And so it's such a heartbreaking end to season 3. And then we are put into it in season 4, literally hit the ground like a paratrooper. But so what was your initial thoughts on the opening of this? Were you a little thrown off or confused of what was going on?
I was thrown off for a good 60 seconds, if I'm being honest. Like, it took me a good, like, whoa, what's going on? But then when I got it, and it was pretty much what I thought it was. And again, I am not a manga reader, so I don't know anything coming up. But I saw the trailer, so I was like, oh, I'm assuming that this is kind of like a background on the Marleys. But it wasn't a background on the Marleys. It was more like a flash forward on the Marleys.
4 years in the future.
4 years in the future, which kind of tells you a little bit, and we'll get to the whole Zeke and Reiner thing as far as their time is up kind of thing. But as far as their time kind of running out, the clock where they need to pass down their Titan form. But we get a flash forward into another war that the Marleys got into. I believe if all timeline is lining up, I believe this is going to be at the end of season 3. So at the end of season 3, this war starts taking place, and maybe this is 4 years after the end of season 3. So that we're going to get an older Aaron when we cut back to Inside Paradise. So they got into a war with, I think they called them the Mid East forces, which I thought was hysterical because I was like, okay, we get it. They're the Middle East.
Yeah.
But they got into a war with the Middle East forces or Mid East forces. And then they were trying to take over Fort Slava, which is this new. So again, what this did to me, what this episode did to me, it did a few things, but the main thing it did for me was tell me that the world isn't necessarily just the Marleys. The world has other types and groups of people all around.
Yeah,
that's
what
we
got.
Full
world outside of this island.
Correct. So it's not just like the German style Marleys that we see. There's like Middle Eastern people. I'm assuming there's like Asian people because we got a reference to that in season one.
Mikasa's Oriental. Yeah.
So that opened up a little bit to me, and then it did the whole like new warrior class thing with I don't know if I'm going to get all their names.
Falco, right?
Falco, Gabby, Colt, Udo, and the other homegirl. I forget her name. But those are like the new warriors in training, meaning that one of them is going to take over the Beast Titan, and one of them is going to take over the Armor Titan. So Zeke and Reiner.
I think all four of the younger kids are going for the Armor Titan.
Correct.
The Beast Titan is already going to be Falco, right?
It's Colt. Yeah.
Colt. Okay, I couldn't remember which one was the older brother, which one was the younger. So Colt he's set to be the Beast Titan after.
So that was given to him. Yeah.
Yeah, that was given to him. I don't know. We don't know how much time because we know that if this is at the end of the show of season 3, Eren has been the Attack Titan for 5 years. So he's got 8 years left. And, Armin's just started his 13 years. So he's got 13 years left. And this is supposedly 4 years. Let's say the moment that we leave Eren on the beach, we'll say that's 4 years later. So Zeke and Reiner should have 4 years left, but it could be later. It could be like maybe the war started 4 years after. Like this is 8 years after season 3.
Because we don't know necessarily when Reiner inherited. We know he was a kid when he got it. Was he the same age as Eren when he got it? Because I don't know if that's confirmed.
That's what I'm wondering is how long he had. I feel like they would have trained like Reiner, Annie, Bertolt, and their companion that got eaten by Ymir. I feel like they would have trained at least for a year or two with the Marleys while they were the Titans. Like they wouldn't get the Titan power and be immediately sent over to Paradise, because their job was to retake the coordinate, retake the founding Titan. So I feel like it's got to be 13 years. But I think
close to it,
close to it, because I do think this does take place right after season 3, because the guy says 9 years ago we sent over we lost the female Titan, we lost the Colossal Titan during this campaign, and that was 9 years ago, and that would line up when Annie, Bertolt, and Reiner landed on the island and showed up at base camp with Eren and all them. Did you freeze? Did Ace? I think Ace froze. Oh wait, okay, there you go.
But I'm back. Yeah.
Okay. So I think so they must have gotten. I think Zeke and Reiner got it a few years before they showed up on the island.
Yeah, so we know that their time is coming up, basically, is what they're trying to say. So as far as what is being done for the Titans. So I pulled up a few images, man. I don't know if you want to bring them up right now, just to follow along a little bit. So obviously, we get this kind of really crazy, brutal World War I trench warfare type style of the Marleys versus the Mideast. So it's the Marleys and the Marleys and the Eldians. So the Marleys use the Eldians
as cannon fodder.
Yeah, they use them basically as like their main garrison, their main warriors who are kind of on the front lines. So this is the new crew that I was referencing.
Yes. And the girl in the middle is Gabby, correct? This is Gabby.
Yeah. Who's supposed to be the prodigy,
Yeah, she even knows it. She is like, I'm way ahead of you in grades, I'm way ahead of you in drive, and she lives up to her name by destroying the train. But even with this, you see that, even after Colt and I lost his name again. Colt and who? His brother.
Yeah, I forgot his name too. Let me pull it up. I'll find it.
All right.
But Colt and his brother, yeah.
Colt and his brother, after, they get rescued, that's how the episode starts, with Colt laying on his back. Falco. And he's like, oh, we got to pull back. And even just saying like, hey, we have to pull back, we're getting killed out there. They're like, oh, you dare question us, you Eldian scum? Yeah. And even then, like, not the general or whatever rank is, but, the second in command, he's like, oh, even as their Eldians are winning the fight with the two four-legged Titans, they're winning the fight single-handedly with Gabby throwing the grenades and the Titans, destroying all the garrisons and stuff. They're like, oh, look at what you Eldians used to do. We used to eat us like this. Like there is just zero respect or admiration, even in a foxhole, even in combat. They don't respect the Eldians. They don't like them. They're like the children of the devil and scum. Like, it's just crazy. If you want to take off the screen, I'll bring up the next image.
Yeah, so it's interesting because it's very religious, right? Where it's almost like there's even a line where they tell the Eldians, like, if you give your life for the cause, you will kind of purge your soul of the devil, kind of thing. Gabby even says that, where she says, I will wipe the sins of my people by becoming the armored Titan and taking back paradise, or something like that. And it's one of those things where they're kind of brainwashed to think that they're so evil, they're basically demonic, that in order to like give their lives and become good, it's to give their life for the cause, for the Marleys, who are considered to be the gods.
And you see them, like, they've been beaten up. They've been, this is like literally just, you said World War I. That's the perfect summation of this, is that they've done these trench charges. I think this garrison, this fort that they're trying to take, is the last fort. You see once they take it, they resolve a peace treaty. And so I think this is, the last garrison of this war. And so they've probably been at this. They've probably been trying to take this fort for months and months with these fruitless charges and thousands of casualties. And they're saying, no, we're not going to risk our Titans. We're just going to throw the Eldians at them. These 800 Eldians, you're going to die. And if you die, that's the only way you can redeem yourself. That's the only way you can prove that you're not the spawn of Satan, basically. And it's so heartbreaking to see these kids that are like, I'm going to prove that I'm not the spawn of Satan by dying for these people that wouldn't piss to put them out if they were on fire. Like, it's just so unfortunate. And it's like, you obviously got a huge taste of it in the Grisha flashback, but somehow it is driven so much more home in this episode, where go ahead.
What it also does too is it kind of, like, if you really look back all the way back now to season 1 or season 2, it changes your perspective on Annie, Reiner, and Bertold, if you haven't already, right? Where a lot of people, especially because we're following Aaron, Mikasa, Armin, Levi, and all these people that we love. So when we see Annie, when we see Bertold, when we see Reiner kind of turn on them, we hate him, right? Or at least a lot of people did. I've seen a lot of reaction videos for Attack on Titan, and where Bertold gets eaten, everyone's like, yeah, F you, bro, you suck. And I'm just like, I don't think that's the point. I think you guys are missing the point of, like, it's not supposed to be cool that Bertold's being eaten. Sure, he kind of deserves it. I'm not necessarily saying that Reiner or Bertold are like free of all charges. Like, I'm sure they still have blood on their hands, but it's one of those things where it's not as simple. It's not as black and white.
No, because like after the reveal has happened, you're with Aaron, because like Ymir is, everyone's healing. They're all tired. They're like talking in the trees, and like, you're with Aaron. You're like, how are you just talking right now? You destroyed the gate. 250,000 people died because of you, let alone, all our friends and comrades, and you grew up with us and you did this, and like, you're like, yeah, F you guys. Yeah. But seeing, like, if all you saw was this, they're completely wiped. Like, they're just trying to quote unquote redeem themselves in the eyes of the Marleys here. And so you understand, at least to the smallest degree, of like why they're driven like that. And even Bertolt says, like, I don't want to kill you, but you're going to die. Like, like, you are my comrades, but you have to die. Two of these competing ideas are coexisting right now, because that's just how it is.
And it's one of those things too, where if I'm being completely honest, and I tweeted this out, and I don't know if you saw it.
Oh no.
It's not. No, it's not bad. But I mean, at least I don't think it's bad. But Reiner's my boy, bro. Reiner's been my boy since like day one. I'm a ride or die Reiner, bro. Like even Reiner in this episode, I'm like, let's go, bro. Where he's just like, let's go, bro. And he's just like,
he's so battle worn.
Cool,
he's so battle tested. Like,
yeah,
him and Zeke don't even blink with what's going on. But even that, like, even their battle plan where they have a bunch of Eldians cocooned up. Yeah. And just like, oh, that's your job. You're just going to turn
you can
Titans.
See their eyes too, where they're just like, I don't want to give my life, but they're just like, all right, I'll give my life.
Oh yeah. Like they have no, I don't even think they have a choice. They're like, oh, like some of you are going to be infantry. A handful of you can possibly be Titan, like, warriors. And then the rest, you're just going to be literal Titan cannon fodder where, half of them don't even survive the fall out of the plane. And then the rest are just there to die.
Yeah, well, let's jump real quick just because I see what you have pulled up. Let's jump to the elephant in the room. And to me, the elephant in the room is two things. The reveal of the names of the Cart Titan and the Jaws Titan.
Oh my gosh, the Jaws Titan is so dope.
When he said, let's bring out the cart and the jaw, I was like, the cart and the jaw? I've never heard it called jaw, but that makes perfect sense, which is Emir's Titan. And that's
what I was going to ask.
We know that, so we don't know, but I know, at least that's what I took from it, that Emir got eaten. And she got replaced when she sent that letter to Historia. And when she touched it, we saw Emir being tied up and being sacrificed for the Marleys. At least that's what I took it as. I don't know if a lot of people got that, but I did. I was like, oh, Emir's dead. And we got confirmation that she's dead because we saw the new Jaws Titan, which his name is Galliard. And everyone loves him, apparently. They're all like, Galliard! But he looks badass, dude. Like, he really does look cool. And he looks like he knows how to use that Titan form.
The thing that I want to, because, like, Ymir did a good job, when she defended the castle and stuff like that. But Galliard is just tearing stuff up in this episode, using the jaws, using his claws that he's got there. And I love that they've given them armor, and especially the Card Titan. We'll bring up the Card Titan next. The fact that the Card Titan is like fully Iron Man masked up with three Gatling guns on his back.
Machine guns on his back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we still
so here's
we still haven't seen who that Card Titan is. Yeah. As far as like the person who's inside of it, right? We don't know who necessarily he is.
That's what I was surprised, because like we've seen somewhat quote unquote intelligent Titans before, but the fact that the Card Titan has never been in human form. Here's the Card Titan looking like straight out of an Iron Maiden video. Like, this is the most metal thing cool. Attack on Titan has ever done.
When I saw the machine guns on his back, I was like, that is gangster, bro. That's so gangster.
And I love this because it like really delves in that they've been in this war for 4 years. So maybe at the beginning of this, the Card Titan didn't have this armor. The Card Titan didn't have, 3 machine guns on his back. Maybe the Jaws Titan didn't have the claws or the metal mask either. But they are armored up for battle.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's so sick.
They're called warriors, right? And it's so interesting because I'm even thinking about it, because the only line we've ever heard the Cart Titan speak is when he said War Chief Zeke back in season 3. And I was like, War Chief, like, man, that's like wild, like, old school stuff as far as, war mentality. And that's my takeaway for this episode. That was actually my title of my video, was like, Marley's military is wild. Like, their military tactics are insane. They basically use the Titans as like cannon shells. And it's disgusting, right? Because they're Titans eating people. Like, that's the most disgusting. It's like using chemical weapons nowadays. Like, just don't do that.
It's like the amount of war crimes that take place in this episode is legitimately insane. The fact that they're using child soldiers to Gabby throws the grenade. And it's such a weird thought, because you're like, why aren't they shooting this girl? And you're like, wait, why am I asking them to shoot a child right now? Like, no, don't.
I wouldn't shoot a child. I wouldn't be able to.
And then they literally using Titans as like to eat people, but then like we showed the picture of all the Eldians in the cocoons, just like they just get thrown out the plane.
Yeah.
And then if you want to bring up the next slide.
Well, dude, that's my thing. We know that this is before I bring it up. We know that Zeke can transform others into Titans, and he can control those people that he transforms into Titans. He can't control all Titans, but the ones he transforms, he can't control.
Yes,
I believe. But we never seen him actually transform him into Titans until
I always
this episode.
wondered, I was like, is he like going around injecting them one by one?
That's what I thought. I thought it was an injection that he was doing, but it turns out he has this like warrior scream, I guess is what I called it, where he screams and they all just literally went like pop, 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 and they all turned into Titans in midair. I also gave you an image of the Titans flying like raindrops.
Dude,
and
it was
it's
such a haunting thing
where it kind of echoes the opening intro, which we haven't even talked about. We have to talk about. Yeah. But about the raindrops that were falling. And I was like, oh, what if it's like the Titans is like the rain falling because there's like so many of them and they're like raindrops because they're so expendable, basically. They just like pop on the ground.
Like they don't need artillery when they literally have artillery that will get up and eat you after it explodes on the ground.
Yes.
Like either like it's such a I was wondering, I was like, how have they not taken this fort before? Because this seems like such a foolproof, awful strategy of just like throwing Titans out of a plane. Yeah. And either they land and they're going to destroy whatever they land on and die, or they're going to destroy whatever they land on and then get up and then eat everybody.
Yeah, it's definitely scary as hell. And it definitely stood out to me as far as what their military tactics were. Because my thing was, they were actually kind of fearful of the Mideast forces, where they said like, hey, these guys have like cannon shells that can like pop Titans right in the nape, which can take out our Titans, even if it's our jaw and cart Titan. The guy said, he was like, we can't risk it. They have, even the armor Titan. They said they have like armor piercing train tank that they pulled out.
Yeah. And you know that goes back to why the Rices, the royal family, were tasked with erasing people's memories. It wasn't just about like the fact that of telling people like, hey, we're on an island and we're kind of like in our own prison. It was basically to stop people from advancing technology far enough to defeat the Titans wholeheartedly. Because if we got to a point where, I'll see if I can find a slide with the cannons and stuff. If we got to a point,
I'll give you one, but
with the cannons, then there wouldn't be a thing. You know, instead, you know, luckily we have people. Luckily the Eldians have people, you know, coming up with the ODM gear or you know, the sling. I'm trying to find one. I can't. I think there was a
sorry,
train.
man. I give you so many.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. But just like I love that it still harkens back to why their memories are being erased, because otherwise this wouldn't be a conflict. Like, you know, they've made cannons, but they haven't, you know, made the shells or the projection fast enough to pierce the nape or anything. And so you see that even, you know, this train obviously messes, just F's things up for Titans whenever they attack. And I guess there was a second train, and you saw that Reiner gets his whole armored arm ripped off. And meanwhile, you know, the Thunder Spears, which were awesome in season 3, like only after 2 or 3 waves are they finally piercing his armor. And that's how far advanced the mainland technology is to the island.
Right. It showed you too, because it's also the reference of like the photograph where they're like, this is a photograph, and you're like,
they literally like, he literally says this is not an illustration, because that's immediately what they thought. Like, is this a portrait? They're like, no, this is not an illustration. This is a photograph.
Yeah.
And them even using like the crystals to make lanterns. Like they, you know, they kind of montage it a little bit after that arc, but they're like, yeah, we use the crystals, and now we have electricity basically from these crystals.
Yeah, it definitely is kind of scary to think how far the technology has come, where maybe the power of the Titans is starting to lose a little bit of its edge, even though we just saw a victorious mission with the Marleys and the Titans.
But it was like, you even saw, like, even if they got that first wave of artillery off, like if Reiner doesn't, I don't know if Reiner's gone or not, but if he doesn't take that wave of shells,
True.
he's in the preview for the next episode, right?
He is.
Okay,
I don't want to spoil it, but
for a second.
if you saw the trailer, you know that he survived.
Like
Reiner is like
trailer.
one of those guys who like homeboy is like
die.
He doesn't die.
He just does not die.
I think he's died like 4 times.
I was like, how is it? These guys got half a head and he's still fighting right now.
Reiner is one of those guys who just like keeps on coming. Like homie's like a cockroach. Homie doesn't die. But yeah, that's my thing too, is like if we can jump to the moment that I think it's really interesting because Gabby really wants to be the armor titan. That's her mission. And she knows she's competing with the other guys, the other kids who are wanting to be the armor titan as well, but no one as much as Gabby for sure, which I almost feel like I think it's a guarantee she's going to do it. But again, I don't know, maybe it's ironic if she doesn't do it and if she dies and one of the other kids has to do it. But Gabby is the one who's so obsessed with it. And it's interesting because Reiner in this episode is now an older Reiner. We can see that with his little scruff and beard.
Little scruff, yeah.
And we could see him on the plane. And when he parachutes off, I love when the captain says Reiner is the shield and
Zeke is the spear.
Zeke is the spear. And I was like, yo, that's sick. And I think we've heard that before, even though Reiner is the one doing all the work.
Reiner's doing like I was like
Zeke literally does one thing. He does a baseball toss.
Yeah, I was like, when is the spear coming into this? Because Reiner is just tearing the entire base up, and then Zeke comes in and destroys the Navy. Yeah, but yeah, like look at that rugged, aged, battle-hardened Reiner right there. Like
Reiner's my boy, man. I
want to. Do you think we're gonna get another Reiner v. Eren fight before Reiner?
Well, here's my thing, man. You know what? And I really hope, again, anyone in the chat, I love you guys. I really do, and appreciate each and every one of you guys who are in here right now. But please don't tell me. But I think Reiner is the one in the poster. Have you seen the poster?
No, I haven't.
So
let me bring that up. Take this off, and I'll bring up the poster for us.
So I don't think I gave it to you. Sorry, man.
No. I'll
look it up. So it's the season 4 poster. It's basically one guy with the Eldian armband, and it's a blonde guy looking up, and it's Eren just being like, "I'm gonna kill you, bro." And I think that's Reiner. I might be wrong, and please don't tell me in the chat. But essentially, the season 4 poster is like. It looks like
I've got it a little bit. It's on Google Images, so it's not great, but it's this.
So if you click on that, so that is, I think that's Reiner, and I think Eren. You see Eren in the clouds up there.
Yeah,
I think the final thing, or at least the final thing for maybe part 1, is going to be Eren versus Reiner before maybe Reiner passes it down. I don't know. Maybe what if Reiner? Wouldn't it be kind of ironic if Reiner dies or something like that, and maybe they can't get the armor titan?
I'm wondering. That's the thing, is that this episode is just so packed with everything. Like I was like, man, this is how you start a final season right here. Yeah. How many chapters or how many episodes do you think we're gonna get?
I think we're gonna get. I think it's gonna be like season 3. I think it's gonna be 12 and 12.
Okay.
Or 13 and 11 or something like that. It'll reach 24, but we'll have a part 1 and we'll have a part 2. That's the rumor that's going around right now, because again, this is all, Japanese animation kind of style, as far as they don't necessarily reveal all the information. So what I think is going to happen is 12 episodes, part 1. We do that super long break of like 4 months or 5 or 6 months. Then we get part 2. And we get another 12 there, similar to season 3, similar to season 1, where we got part 1 and then part 2, total of 24 episodes. But yeah, to answer your question, I think Reiner's going to play a big hand in this. I think Reiner is going to face off.
Now, I do think, looking at this could be Colt or what? Oh my gosh. So many people.
Colt is the guy.
Falco. Colt is the older one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so this could be Colt. Because he's also another blonde, but I do think it's also Reiner.
I think it's Reiner.
Eren and Reiner are day one, and so we can't.
I think even if Reiner turns good, I think Reiner's still deep down. Reiner wants to kill Eren.
Yeah,
and Eren wants to kill Reiner, even if they make peace. He's somehow bro, I'm still gonna find a way to kill you.
Yes,
they just hate each other.
They legitimately, because even what was he's like. If I could pick anybody to have the Founding Titan, the last person I would have picked is you, Eren. They hate each other, and I cannot wait for this rivalry to finally be solved. They've each, Reiner won the first bout.
Yeah.
Just barely. Just barely
Yeah.
with a little bit of a cheat from the Colossal Titan.
Mhm.
But then Aaron kicked his ass second round, and so we are due
True.
for a rubber match right here.
Then again, Thunder Spears. And again, if you see that poster, you see a lot of Thunder Spears up there.
Yes.
I don't know if you see it, but you'll see
Yeah.
like a ton of people with Thunder Spears in the buildings, which is scary
Absolutely.
for Reiner because Reiner's like, not again.
Yeah.
But real quick, man, let's run down the Titans. So speaking of Founding Titan and speaking of Attack Titan, we know that's Aaron. Galliard has the Jaws Titan. Piek is the Cart Titan.
Oh, that's his name, Piek? Okay.
Piek. We still have Annie, so we assume that she's still there with the female Titan. We still have Reiner. Reiner is the armored. We have Zeke. And then we have Zeke is the beast, so that's 6, right? And then we have Colossal, which is Armin now. 7. And then who am I missing?
Colossal, I don't think we've been introduced to the last 2 Titans.
No, because we should be. So it should be Aaron is Attack and Founding.
Yeah. So then Aaron is Attack and Founding.
Reiner armored, Zeke beast, Annie female, and then we have Cart, Jaws, Colossal. There's one more. What is the other?
Have we been introduced to all of them?
I don't know. If we haven't, there's one more we haven't been introduced to.
So I don't know if we've been introduced to the 9th and final Titan.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think we have either. If not, then this is quite a stir as far as us discovering if the Marleys even have that final Titan. I don't think they do because they would use them because they're using the Cart and the Jaws.
Yeah, they're using all 4 Titans that they have, it seems like.
What if another country has the final Titan? That would be a twist. Wouldn't that be insane?
Yeah, Zarin in the chat saying we haven't seen it yet.
There you go.
Seen the final Titan.
Interesting. That's really cool.
That's what I'm wondering is like where that final Titan is. Do the Paradisers have it? Do the Marleys have it?
Or maybe another country? Yeah.
Is there? We saw this guy at the end of the episode. If you want to put it on screen.
Oh yeah.
We saw this guy at the end of the episode.
Yeah, and again, I'm sure the manga readers are like, oh, you guys are idiots, but we don't read it, so please, just stop.
Is this guy the 9th Titan?
Yeah, definitely. They made it a point to highlight this person, and I was like, beats me. I don't know who that is. But yes, we still have not seen. I guess not the final Titan. I guess I was wrong. Yeah. I thought we've seen them all, but I guess not.
Yeah, I forgot that Aaron has 2 Titans. So
yes, 2.
That equals 8.
Which to me is like the biggest thing of them all, because if you think about it, if I eat Aaron, I get both.
Yep.
Or if Aaron dies and he doesn't give it to anyone else, they would go to one and then to another, right? I would assume
they would split off to 2 random LDN children.
Which is even crazier to think
now,
about.
Now, would the founding Titan go to a royal family member because they're the only ones that can truly use that power? Like Aaron used it when he connected to Dinah Freitz because she has royal blood and that used the power. And so he was even saying, he's like, that's why he hasn't brought that up, because he's afraid that if he brings it up, they'll sacrifice Historia. Yeah. They'll sacrifice Historia to either like her become a Titan and like he'll just, walk up to him and be like, all Titans stop or something like that. Or they'll have him eat her.
Yeah, that's definitely a good question, because I don't think so, if I'm being honest, because I think it's a little bit more interesting to say if they just passes on to someone else and maybe the royal person left, if it be Historia, be like, hey, Historia, you got to eat that one kid in order to unlock the full power. And maybe that's the whole moral twist of it all, as far as that being kind of messed up to do.
I would think that they'd miss a real big opportunity that after, if Aaron makes it the full 13 years, like for Historia to not eat him and like really, really hone in on the founding Titan's powers.
Yeah, what I'm curious about, obviously, as we're kind of winding down this episode, as far as the preview for the next episode, we see a little celebration with the Eldians happy that they just won that battle. And Reiner's
won the war.
Won the war. Yeah, true. Good point. And Reiner's over there like, yeah, we did it. Even though it looked like they were like in a little bar or a little shack, which to me even exemplifies even more how they're treated and discriminated against.
Yeah, because even like, the paper was like, oh, the Marleys, they won the war. Like there was no mention of the Titans. There was no mention of the Eldians. There was no mention of Gabby, single-handedly destroying the train and turning the tide of the entire battle. There's no mention of them. Like there's no way that the citizens, and that's the thing, like, I think that there's no way the citizens know that they're literally like taking Eldians and dropping them and turning them into Titans for battle tactics. But even if they did, I don't think they'd care. I honestly don't think they would care at all.
Yeah, which to me shows me that maybe, and again, don't tell me in the chat, but again, maybe these kids, Falco, Udo, Gabby, Colt, even Reiner. Well, I don't know about Reiner, but I don't think Zeke and Reiner, I think they might be a little bit too far gone, but maybe Reiner. I think Reiner
is still going to be a focus of this because, like, I don't think Zeke will, because we've decided we know who's getting the Beast Titan. We know that Colt's getting the Beast Titan.
Yes.
But we don't know what group out of the four, out of the Stranger Things kids, we don't know what four is getting the Armored Titan. So I think those four and Reiner are going to be the focus of part one of this final season. Well, and then I think part two is going to go back to Eren and Mikasa and them.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Where maybe the conclusion of everything is trying to convince these kids or trying to unbrainwash them to say, hey, you've been living as second-class citizens your whole life. Join us, Eren, Levi, Mikasa, our team, in order to stop the Marleys from taking over the world. I think that might be the whole twist at the end, or the whole conclusion, as far as trying to get Gabby and Falco and Colt and all these kids, and again, maybe Reiner, but again, I don't know. I was going to ask,
do you think Reiner is going to be a secret double agent and be like, hey, I've made some mistakes. There are demons that I will never lose, and I'm going, straight to hell for killing 250,000 people, being responsible for 250,000 deaths. Don't do what I do. Like, we are second-class citizens our entire life. This is the one time we can truly make a difference. And like, do you think that Reiner's going to have, I don't want to call it a redemption.
Yeah, that's my thing. To answer, he's in the chat. Optimike Primus, I think is what who it is. Let me see who said that. Yeah, Optimike Primus said this isn't Star Wars, but that's exactly what I thought of. Was like, not like infiltrate and like do all that. I think he's too far gone for that. But maybe pull a last, like, throw the Emperor down the well kind of thing.
I think so.
I think I could see Reiner pulling that, as far as like a Vader, as far as like he's right about to die, and right before he dies, he does something to sacrifice himself for the good, like a Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2 or something.
Yeah. His final act will be
final act. He'll still die for all the sins he did and all the bad things he did.
Yeah,
but he'll maybe do something positive for Eren or for Mikasa or for Historia that he still kind of has feelings for, maybe a little bit. Maybe that's what'll kind of take
I was
him back.
rewatching that, and like right when she like wraps his arm and she like looks at him, she's like, sorry, he's like, gotta marry her. I was like, oh, it's so great. It's so great.
Well, that's my thing. Like, I still think that Reiner has a tiny little connection to Emir, to the point where they were both in love with the same person, or they're both interested. Like, Emir's in love. I think Reiner was just like, she's cute.
He was infatuated.
Yeah, but I still feel like that little connection might be the thing that, kind of like Han Solo touching Kylo.
Yeah.
I'm going back to Rise of Skywalker, but like that moment being the moment that redeems him or whatever. When he like sees Historia again and sees how far she's come. Like, maybe that'll happen. Maybe just because Ryder's like one of my favorite characters in the show, and that's why.
I really could see it, because he's not one of my favorite characters, so it's not like some bias or something like that. Because I could see it, where like he's and we brought that. He's like, I'm so sick of walls. Like before he turns, like he was the most over it person in that whole fight.
Dude, his voice. Like, we know that Reiner he's an expressive guy. We know he has a deep voice, but I still felt like it was like extra like mellow, right? Like very stoic. And he's like, I'm going to take down these walls. There's 28, 29 of them. I'm going to take them down. I was like, whoa, dude, what is up with you, bro? Like,
you wonder if he's got some permanent, the Titan's healing factor, we still don't know much about it. You wonder because like when Hanji was, pushing her sword up against his throat, and he got so messed up, his whole head was gone, he barely reformed. True. And so you wonder if he has some permanent lasting damage from the wall fight.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know how deep the healing factor goes. I would assume it would heal that, but that's a good point. I never thought of that he did sound very hoarse when Hanji was like stabbing him on the throat and trying to take his head off, which again, I think it's
Levi, remember when he gets Levi, another badass move where like he comes out of the wall and kills that cadet. Levi like springs on him and like goes through the throat and through the heart. Still didn't kill him.
Still can't kill him.
Got Reiner before he changed. Like, nope.
That's my boy.
How is he still alive? How was he still alive after that?
Well, that's the thing, right? Because I think it's about speed. Because I do think a decapitation would kill him. Again, this is me speculating. I don't think they've ever said that. But I do think like in human form, if you decapitate Reiner, I think you would kill him. But I think it would have to be quick enough to where he didn't know you decapitated him. You know what I mean? Where he can't do the whole transfer of consciousness thing. So if you decapitate him before he transfers consciousness, I think you would be able to kill him. But I still think like I'm doing the vampire thing where the decapitation kills a vampire or a stake through the heart, which is like the whole nape thing. Yeah. It's either decapitation or cut off his head. It's the nape or cut off his head.
Do you want to grab that super chat?
Yeah, let's. I definitely want to go through all of them.
Easy with the manga stuff, guys. Easy with the manga stuff. I see manga by Zarin. Thank you for the super chat, but easy with the manga stuff. We don't want to know. We don't want to know anything about the manga.
Did he say anything?
Well, like the question is, where do you guys see the OG crew at this point in the story? The manga is once a month, so it felt like forever before we saw them again.
Oh, interesting. Thank you, Zarin, for the super chat. Yeah, I see them very battle hardened too. Maybe they're super prepped. Maybe the Soviet Corps is lit. Like maybe they're popping. Maybe like after all this that went down, you know how the Soviet Corps were always like, trash and treated like trash and second class and no one wanted to join. They would always get like 10% of what the other militaries got. Like maybe like it's like 80 or 70%. Where like a ton,
I think so.
There's like everyone is Soviet Corps now, where like everyone has to serve, or like everyone wants to serve. I think
that Paradise finally knows, like what's going on. Like, hey, we're safe now. There's no more Titans. This is the truth. We've been lied to our whole lives. Our memories have been erased, and there's enemies on the other side of the sea. Like, I'm wondering where their technology is. Like, are we ever going to see ODM gear after this?
Hanji's a beast. So
Hanji's so dope. Hanji's one of my faves.
As soon as Erwin was like, all right, Hanji, you're my successor, I was like, yes, that's the correct move.
That is the right move.
He didn't pick Levi. He picked Hanji.
No, Levi is the spear. You point him in direction and he will do it, but he's not a strategist. He's not like, he inspires through his actions, not like Erwin is a genius. Erwin will be missed. Erwin will be for sure missed, but I think, Armin's going to have a few big moments in it. He has to have a few big moments in this season, to like kind of justify that choice that they made at the end of season 3.
Yeah, for sure. And it's definitely one of those things where I'm definitely glad that he picked Hanji, because to me, it's about knowing your role. And to me, Erwin's a genius. Hanji's a genius. It makes sense to give her the commanding role. And I've been saying that like since season 2, like literally by season 2, I was like, oh, Hanji's perfect to take over. If Erwin ever needs to have a second in command, it's Hanji. And Levi is like a different level. Levi is like his right hand, but Hanji is his second in command. And eventually Armin will be the successor. But I still think that Hanji is the one who deserves to take over. I feel like I missed Super Chat beforehand. Let me see if I can find it. So D-Train says, how about them Giants? Biggest upset of the season.
Dude, just beat the Seahawks. I didn't see the end of that game, but I guess they won. Good for them.
Yeah, I know my Cardinals lost, so that's all I know. Andrew Hale, thank you for the super chat, says definitely check out Death Note, my favorite anime by far. Attack on Titan is definitely top 5 as well. So that's towards you, yeah. Yeah,
I know, guys. Death Note is definitely on the docket for sure, and like we might do an episode of this, like where me and Ace dive deep, and we'll bring on Emma 5 because she literally named her cats after Death Note characters. Yeah.
Emma Fife and I saw we went to the Netflix premiere of the Death Note movie. That was quite an experience.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm so
we
sorry.
both went. Yeah, Emma and I. It was quite an experience. That was a long time ago at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, any final thoughts on this episode? Anything you want to get to?
There's always I do love just one. I wanted to ask you because I saw it a lot in chat. How'd you feel about the CGI of the Titans?
Oh, I loved it. I forgot.
I loved it too.
For Zeke and Reiner, right?
Yeah.
They looked so freaking cool. They looked otherworldly.
They looked like, it's crazy. I keep using this term, battle hardened. They looked like they've been fighting for 4 years. Like, I don't know, if how that works with Titans and reforming, if they come out brand new every single time, but they looked like they'd been through it for 4 years in this fight. I love it.
Yeah, I did, and I did notice it, to be honest. Obviously, the animation is something that I really have been following forever, and I love different styles of animation. Yeah. And I really like the 2D 3D mix. I think it works when it comes to when they did it with the Colossal Titan. I thought it was beautiful because it looks so otherworldly and like almost like demonic style. And that's what they did this episode with Reiner and Zeke. As far as the Beast Titan and the Armored Titan. And I thought it worked. I thought it was super freaking cool. Obviously, they spend a lot of time and a lot of money doing this. These shows do not come out every 2 weeks. Like, they take forever.
I really thought it looked good. I thought just like, and especially with how it blended so well with the 2D animation, and especially because you can get kind of that juxtaposition between the Jaw and Cart Titan, which are hand drawn, and then if the CG wouldn't mix well, you'd really tell. But I really liked it. But looking forward to episode 2 or episode 61, it's such a big swing to not have any of your true main characters. The trio in here, none of the Survey Corps at all in this episode. But I feel like they completely nailed it, and I'm okay if next episode we're still focused on LDN, Stranger Things, and Reiner. I'm okay. I want to see this part. I love that they just dove us head first into the end of a war, into the middle of a battle, and everything's explained. There are obviously missing pieces that hopefully they'll fill in throughout the season, but you're not lost. You're not like completely swimming in over your head. You're like, okay, this is a fight. Yeah. It's 4 years after. There's Reiner. There's Zeke. Okay, got it. Let's go. And it was so well done.
That is spot on. This isn't Tokyo Ghoul. Ray, have you seen Tokyo Ghoul?
No, I haven't.
Okay. They do a Tokyo Ghoul shift where they get a new cast, and it was confusing for like 2 episodes long. This isn't that. There is a new kids and all that, similar to the Tokyo Ghoul final season. Mm-hmm. But you're right. The Reiner of it all kind of grounds it. The Reiner and Zeke, where it's like, at least we know that Reiner's here. We know that guy.
Yeah,
all the other kids, you're like, okay, I'll get to know them from Reiner's POV because that's the only guy I know.
Yeah, there was enough to like ground it, be like, okay, I've got my sense. I see Ymir's, the cart. I see the Jaws Titan. I recognize that. There's Reiner. Oh, that's how Zeke transformed an entire village into Titans. That's how he controlled all of them. Because you notice, like, when after Levi takes him down and the Cart Titan's like carrying him away, he's like, all of you go kill him, and they just obey him. You're like, oh, it's like that simple for him just to say it, and now we finally got that explanation. But yeah. Because, in Young Justice Season 3, after 4 years of Young Justice not being on the air, I don't know about how you felt about it, if you watched it or not. I wasn't a big fan of like the new characters and like the stuff they did, because I wanted to catch up with Nightwing. I wanted to catch up with Superboy and Miss Martian, and it didn't give me that. And so I was like, I'm kind of hit or miss with it. But this one, I was like, okay, it's a big swing, and they nailed it. They hit it out of the park.
And I think it's mainly because of the other POV, right? It's the idea of like, what does the other side think of what they're doing? They're the ones who are committed in these atrocities. Why are they doing this? And I feel like episode 1 is literally like putting you in the middle of the battle saying, hey, what would you do if you were in a trench warfare where there's brains exploding? And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very much like supposed to make you feel for them, or supposed to make you think about their POV. Last thing, Ben, I forgot to ask you. My God, the biggest anime thing of all time is the opening intros. What did you think of the new opening and the opening song?
It's gonna hopefully take time, but I wasn't a big fan of it. How about you? I like the animation. Like I was, glued to. I was looking for clues and stuff like that. But I mean, nothing will ever compare to season 1. That's GOAT level status, and I'm okay with that. It's on a different plane. But it's I listened to I watched the episode twice today, and
I did too.
I kind of skipped over. Like I didn't mute it, but I pressed fast forward once or twice through the opener. How do you like it?
I'm the opposite.
Okay, I love it.
I like the song, and I was like okay with the animation. A lot of explosions, a lot of color bombs.
Oh yeah, the intro animation is amazing. I'm just talking about the song.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm the opposite. I think I like the song more than the animation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, obviously it's okay. It's a decent song. It's not Tokyo Ghoul. It's not Psycho Pass.
My Hero Academia season 3.
My Hero Academia, or Attack on Titan. Pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
I definitely like the ending more than the opening. You know how they do the outro?
Yes. The
outro's cool.
The outro is really, really good. The outros have always been like, that's the one thing. Attack on Titan outros have always stayed the same, like kind of stayed like that good. Obviously, like the intros, a little bit of a roller coaster, but I was watching it with my roommate, and I was like, oh, I'm not a fan. He's like, don't worry, in 3 episodes you'll love it, because I always do. Yeah. Like I'm always like, and then I'm like, yeah, no more skipping this 2-minute intro. Let's go.
What's your? You said your favorite is season 1. What's your favorite?
Season 1, part 1.
What's your favorite outro? I have mine, and it's not even close.
I think it might be season 2.
Okay.
Season
2 is like the strangest one, but okay, yeah. Season 2 is the one where you see Amir and the devil, and they're like touching hands. It's like the old timey.
Is that the? Let me get back to you on the outros. I got to re-listen to the outros because I know my intros. It goes season 1, part 1, and then season 3, part 2 are my top 2.
Yeah, mine would be my favorite opening would be season 2. My favorite outro would be season 1, part 2, which is not the super chill Mikasa one, but the Great Escape. It's called the Great Escape. It's the acorn one for anyone who knows, where the acorn is just rolling and rolling, and it's like a super punk rock song that I love.
I think that's the one I was thinking of too. What season is it?
Season 1, part 1. It's called the Great. If you look up Attack on Titan, the Great Escape.
Season 1, part 1, or just outro.
Attack on Titan, the Great Escape is what it's called, and it's just the acorn rolling, and it's a song, and it's super catchy, and it's awesome, and I love it, and I play it all the time, unironically, and I know all the words to the song.
Nice. See, that's the My Hero Academia one. Is
that's the one.
Yeah,
that's my favorite one.
Yeah, let's like a copyright. Let's like a copyright. I'll stop it. But yeah, that is the one I was thinking of too. So it's season 1, part 2. It's so good. Yeah,
that one. Yep, that's the one.
It's so good. That's the one for sure. That's the outro.
Everyone in the chat, thank you so much. There has been a few of you, but you guys are awesome. You commenting, you're keeping engaged. We definitely want to read your comments more and more in these coming episodes. This is going to be a weekly thing, so keep with us, keep us in mind. Let us know if this time is cool. Hit us up on Twitter. Ben, where can they find you?
At the Ben Goddard for everything, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, all that good stuff. And yeah, I definitely want to interact with the chat more, as long as you're not spoilery for the manga.
Yes, that's why I was a little afraid today. I don't know if you noticed.
I'm a little nervous. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. I might keep it on the private chat just in case, because I did see a little bit of a spoiler, but they erased it. But it stays in StreamYard, so I keep it on the private chat. But yeah, thank you guys so much. This was awesome. Thank you for all the super chats. I know this was super last minute, so I appreciate all of y'all being here. But I'm gonna hopefully, I'm down to do this every single Sunday, because this season I was not ready for how kick-ass this episode was. It was so good.
Yeah, Reiner, Zarin, Aisha, Helsing, Mohammed. Who else was here? I know Optimus Mike or Optimike. Flying Ration, all you guys, thank you so much. Again, it's only a few of you guys, but you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for sticking around. We appreciate you. Obviously, you can find me at Squad Leader Race. I'm going to keep tweeting about Attack on Titan. I'm probably going to watch it a good 2 or 3 more times.
Absolutely.
That's what I do every time. It's only like 18 minutes, so
yeah, it's nothing.
I can rewatch it like 3 or 4 times. It's nothing to me. So make sure you follow me there. Make sure you subscribe to First Cut if you haven't done so already. Follow Ben Goddard, all his stuff, everything he does. Thank you so much for sticking around, and thank you for tuning in. Make sure you come back next week when we talk about episode 61, season 4, episode 2. Thank you so much, guys, for the First Cut crew. We're peacing out. Peace.
Peace.